So what I used is a black colored pencil. And what I have done, and what I typically do if I'm want to work continuously, I actually sharpen quite a few of them, and I like to sharpen both ends. And that way I don't have to stop, and I always have a fine tip if I do need it, because you will need it for some things. The sketch itself, I modified some things on it. I did not like her hand in that sketch. So I just simplified it, and I just made it like just kind of, holding the bag at the bottom. I felt that it looked awkward in the drawing, and that's somebody else's drawing, and that's what they saw they needed to do. So I'm changing that. And I just kind of sharpened the blacks a little bit, almost like took it just a notch deeper to get some contrast. Kind of hard to tell, it could be charcoal that they've used on this, or a black pencil, but I think anything will do. Try to use, if you're using a pencil, don't use a very soft one, because you really want to keep the light areas and the dark areas kind of separate, and you want to prevent some smudging from going on. So this is somewhat what it would look like as a final sketch. So I'm going to show you kind of what I do when I'm starting. So this is kind of just to give you an idea of, just getting familiar with the shapes, getting familiar with the distances, the proportions, because that's really what portraiture is all about. What makes portraiture a little bit more challenging than other types of drawing is that you have to be precise with proportions. You have to be precise with the relationship of size between all of those features, not just how they look, but how they're arranged in one's face, and how one's face is arranged towards, within their neck, their ears, etc. So the thing that we're going to really try to work with in the beginning is trying to get the angles down first. So what I did here is just kind of showing you a map of how this structure is built. So to me, even though it's a side, I could clearly see that there's a triangle for the face and a triangle for the top of the hair. Then you can see that there is a diagonal shape going off this way. So the head is kind of straight on, and then the neck is going to the left, and then the torso is going to the right, and then the bottom is pivoting to the left and then going down. So these are the directions that that the shapes are going into, and I'm going to kind of do these with you and show you how to do that. And typically in the human body, you will see this a lot, that if you have something angling to the right, you will see it angling to the left. And this is how we balance ourselves. If everything went in the same direction, we would fall backwards or forward. So always try to notice that. Negative spaces, which are the spaces between like the chin and the neck. If you just look at that triangle that's forming there, and you try to draw that instead of drawing the actual lines, that's also helpful, very helpful with portraiture. And let me see if there was something else. So the first thing I want to do is I want to do a very simple sketch, and I am going to show you first how to do it. And it's going to be a quick sketch, meaning that we are going to time it. And I am going to do mine with less time than yours. I'm going to be generous and give you twice the amount of time. So I am going to set this for about 2 minutes. And the idea of doing a timed sketch is that it forces you to put down only and absolutely the most important details, and the ones that you see the first. So it takes the overthinking out of it. It's a good practice. We're not going to use this as part of our final drawing unless you choose to, but it's a very good way to get familiarized with something that you're drawing, especially if it looks a little bit complex. So I am going to start my drawing. So this is timed. I'm going to do about 2 minutes. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So remember, it's going to be very rough, but it's going to get me familiar with the angles, the shapes, and the proportions. And here we go. I'm looking and I am going. Okay, so this was 1 minute. And this is a little bit under 2 minutes. Okay, but what I wanted you to see is just how you work on a quick time sketch. And what I want to do is I'm going to give you 5 minutes to work on this. And I just want you to just not stop. I mean, what you can see is that it does have, you know, good shape, good proportions. It doesn't have any detail. So this is a great just practice piece to do, to get yourself kind of just almost like a warm up, like getting your heart rate up, getting your drawing rate up. Okay, so we are going to do 5 minutes. Again, it's going to be quick. I just want you to whiz through it. Just just go from top to bottom, right to left, as many scribbles as you can. And you are starting now. You have 4 minutes.
Noelle?
Yes.
I took off the video so you can't see me and I can't back on. So I only the audio.
Okay.
I don't know what happened, but I'm there. I'm there.
Yes, I saw your name. I was, as long as you're here,
Okay.
that's great. So, okay, we have 3 minutes. And sometimes with these quick sketches, sometimes one kind of starts over halfway through. So, 5 is considered to be quite a long time for a sketch. Okay, we have 2 minutes. Okay. So, okay, pencils down. Okay, you can unmute yourself. So just real quick, so we can get to starting the actual drawing. Does anyone have like a specific area that you think is going to be problematic or something you're surprised? Okay, Lisa.
The face.
The
The
face.
proportions of the face.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely the face. The face is going to be the one that we're going to work on very carefully. Anything that surprised you with doing a quick sketch?
I'm surprised how quickly I could have done. I've done it. I was kind of surprised because I've done it yesterday and I labored forever, and this was quick and worked.
I know. I think it's a really great warm up because it takes away the overthinking it, you know, so you're just putting down what's important. You know, it was funny because I was timing myself earlier today in the morning to see how long I should give everybody. And like, I did some in 30 seconds. I'm not expecting anyone to do it, but it like, I felt pressured to like really just get it all done. It's like, wow, 30 seconds, you can actually do something in 30 seconds. So, so when you do this, you know, try different timings, give yourself 5 minutes, then do 2 minutes, and then do 1 minute and do 30 seconds. And this is great also to do with a still life, with anything, but especially with portraiture, because it really just makes you see everything that is important. Yep, Lisa.
I have to say that I love mine.
Okay.
Like that was so fun. I just had the best time.
Okay, perfect. These sketches, keep the sketches because they end up looking really cool. I love collecting sketches like these by other people. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and start. So I'm glad that this was the outcome that we had. So what Okay, so I'm going to ask everybody to mute. Okay, and okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is, now that we got familiar with it, I'm going to start very lightly with the different shapes, kind of like I showed you on this this sketch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the face, and and feel free to make the face a little bit bigger and do less of the dress if that makes it easier for you to get into those details. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to put in the neck and the body. But primarily our focus is going to be on the face, because a lot of the rest, like the dress and things, you can you can kind of fill in on your own later. So I want to do the face so we can see if you have any questions, and hopefully this will answer them. Okay, now I want you to start this with as light as you possibly can. I always go a little bit darker than I would if it were just for myself, just so that you can see it. So I am going to put in the face. And what I'm going to do is on the right over here, where I'm going to have the features, I'm just kind of just going to dot that line because I don't want it to be restrictive. Okay, so I'm making mine a little bit, having less of the black dress so we can get a nice zoom in on the face. So now I'm going to place the neck. So I'm looking at this space here. There's a triangle that's getting formed, and I can see that kind of this is the angle of the neck. I'm just going to place the body. And since the hand comes out from within the torso, I'm going to do it later. And the one thing you want to do when you're doing the whole body or part of the body is, once you start the head, try to see how many heads is her body, so one, I think it's like almost like a little bit more, almost two. So, if this looks like it's about 2 heads long, then it's right. If it looks like it's, less than a head, then it's too short. But luckily that's an area that is not that hard to fix. I think this needs to be a little bit more angled. So again, we talked about these angles that we are going to have. So I am going to put in, kind of just place the ear. I'm going to put in the hair. And just look at the line. Kind of is almost straight, and then it goes out. Okay, so now I'm going to start just shaping, just putting in just whatever I'm seeing on the right. Just giving it just a little bit more detail. So I'm making it narrower because it was a little lacking a little bit of shape. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do with the face is I'm going to work on the shadows that are underneath the chin. So I'm going to just do some very careful shading. And the reason I chose to do this is that it's a clear area, and it's also really going to help define the shape of the face. Okay, so you can see this gave me a lot of definition. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see where the ear falls within this area that I already have in. So the earring kind of starts almost like in the middle of this, a little bit higher. And I'm just using, not that the earring is important, but it's helping me with placing. And then the rest of the ear, I'm just going to give it the overall shape. Okay. So I'm going to work a little bit on the hair in the back. And you can see there's a triangle between the ear and the hair. And that will kind of give you, because hairlines, you know, in the front and the back, they very much, you know, give the shape and, you know, they give a lot of the likeness to a person, believe it or not. And I'm just going to place the pearls just to make sure that the size of the neck is right. Okay, so I'm going to move over here. I'm just going to make sure this kind of looked a little long to me. So I'm actually going to just shorten it. It's going to start here. I'm just going up. So it's kind of like there's a slight swirl that you can do that might help you with getting the shape of the hairdo. Okay, and so we have a little bit of the other side of her hair showing, or her bangs. I'm not sure what they are. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place the eye. I know instinctively one wants to put in the glasses because they're there and they're big, but once you put the glasses in, they're going to be hard to move. So I would rather start with the eye and the eyebrow and then put the glasses, because they will be easier to move around. So from the top of the ear, I want to see where the eye falls. Okay, so I've got the top of the ear and I've got the bottom, and I can see that the eye falls somewhere. It starts kind of at the bottom and it goes halfway along where the ear is. And it's perfectly fine to draw a line if that helps you. And I'm just going to do some soft shading. And it's almost like kind of a triangle that's going kind of just flying to the side. Okay, so again, measuring where it is and also measuring the distance is going to help make everything in proportion. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and there's a slight shadow that trails under. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to see where the nose is, and we can see if we're looking at the bottom of where the ear is, we can see that the nose falls under. And also, according to the eye, it starts past the eye. And really what it is here, it's just this really very small line, and it's not completely straight. It kind of just dips a little bit down on the right, just a little bit. And it's better to do it smaller than do it too big, because you can always add to it. Make it a little bit darker so you can see it. Again, the nose starts past the eye, under the ear level, and it just angles down a little bit. Now I'm going to move to the mouth, and we can see that if we were to draw a line from the eye all the way down, where it crosses it, part of the mouth is to the right of this line and part of it is to the left. So I'm going to start with the top, and again, it just looks like a little line that has a little ball up here. And then there's just a slight, these are going to be just very faint lines. They will go a very long way. Okay, so now the chin, so you can see what's happening here. If you're gonna, flip this over and look at it to the side, you can see that, you're going to get a line for, the nose, the mouth, the chin. They're all kind of like going to be around the same, almost like they're following this line. So underneath the mouth, there's a little dip. And then there's just a slight squaring at the bottom of the chin. Okay, so what I'm going to do also, I can see that I can do a little bit of shading just here, and that's going to help just kind of lift the chin a little bit. and just accentuate that shadow. Okay, so now I can see that probably the hair needs to be pulled. And portraiture is a constant adjusting of basically everything in there. So that's why it's important to give yourself some room to adjust things. So now I feel comfortable putting in the glasses. And if you kind of just tilt your head, you can see that the glasses are going to be right also along this line. Okay, so they're not going to be this way. They're following the angle of the face. Okay, so I'm going to start it with just, you can see it's like a rectangle that goes above the eye. So again, everything, I'm just going to draw this line so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, see, everything is following that angle, and I will erase that line later. And there's a slight angle here. Again, I'm working darker than I want. I just want you to be able to see this. There's a slight rounding at the top. And then the thick sides of the glasses. Okay, so I think that's good for now. I'm looking more closely. I think that the mouth needs to be lifted up just a little bit. I think it was too low. It's light enough for me to kind of pull it. I think the nose can be a little bit longer. And I think the glasses can get wider. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit up here. I think this can stick out a little bit more at the back. And sometimes what I do, if I work on an area that is, you know, a little challenging or harder, like the face, I go to something that's fun and easy and just kind of just let myself kind of, you know, just cool off and just do something that doesn't require that much precision. Kind of just, you know, pace yourself when you're drawing. I'm just going to give this some darkness. I'm just using a circular motion. Okay, now the face still needs a little bit more work, but I'm going to go to the body so that we have some work done. So I'm just working on this little shadow over here. And she has quite a long neck. And then we have the pearls. And then this is where you're kind of going, you know, outside this line, because everything kind of seems to kind of fall within that one area, and then have the shoulder blades that we see going out here. I'm going to start carving out the shoulder. I'm going to place the rest of the necklace. Put in that little shadow of the shoulder. Okay, so I'm looking at this distance. It needs to be a little bit smaller. She's a petite person. And then, so we have the armpit starting here, and on the back it is lower. It starts lower on the back. So if I draw a line, it's kind of going to be around here. And that's kind of where her dress starts, just a little bit past that line. And you can see this triangle. And what's really helpful, I think, with this sketch is that there's contrast. You know, the skin is left almost white, and then you've got the black dress. So we're able to use these areas as, you know, almost like landmarks to help decide where things start. And here, clearly, you can see where the glove starts. So it's helping kind of make it into like pieces. And the line just extends here a little bit. And you can just give this a little bit of fill. And when you're using these soft colored pencils, it really kind of goes smooth. So even if you're just going back and forth or circular, it's not really going to affect it that much. It ends up being smooth. And also to decide like how far her body goes, you can kind of see it's almost along the lines of her glasses, like probably like around here. And just be careful with this line because you don't want to give her too much of a belly because she did not have one at all. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we're trying to stay true to what she looked like. Okay, so I'm gonna go here and we can see just shortly after this starts, we are getting this triangle. I'm actually gonna darken it because it's gonna help me shape that arm. And then there's a triangle here that's helping with the arm. And since it's gloved, it's very simplified because hands are a whole other challenge with drawing. They are very time consuming. We can see the crease going in here. And you can see her elbow dipping just below the waistline. Okay. So from here, you can almost see along this line, we're going to have her hand. And like I told you, I just kind of removed the fingers and I just had like her whole hand like under, but you can draw this any way you want. To me, I just felt that the artist's interpretation was a little awkward. And the bag is, you can just keep it simple. You don't need to do a lot of the detail that's in it. Just a slight detail, like just angling this here. And I'm just going to give this some shading. And again, even when you're shading, don't just fill in areas, also shape the areas. It's a second chance to get things even more accurate. And I can see that there's kind of a little bit of a dip here, showing her shoulder line. And I'm just putting in all the dark areas so it just makes everything else pop. Put in these couple creases. Okay, so I can see that up over here, you can shape this a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to go and start working. Actually, let's break down this pearl necklace into just show one or two, just a few, just so that it resembles. I think they did like too little of it. I think I would, on mine, I just put a little bit more definition. I think this might have gotten a little too wide here. So I am going to go start working a little bit on the hair, the face, and all of that. And kind of because I've been away from it for a while, it's a good opportunity to kind of see what needs to be done. I think that the face to me on mine just looks a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift these lines. If you don't have that problem, don't worry about it. So I'm just going to kind of just lift this up a little bit. And ideally, when you're doing a portrait, you want it to be you want to be holding your paper upright so you can see what you're doing. But I can't do it because of the camera. So you want your surface to be as upright as possible, and it just helps with proportions. So I think this kind of just gave the face a little bit more of the right scale. Okay, and I'm moving up to the mouth. I think the mouth looks fine. I can just accentuate just some of the dark parts. I'm gonna move up to the nose. Darkening the glasses. I'm going to deepen, so you can see like the center of the eye area is darker and then it kind of blurs out. And then it has just a little shadow that goes under. I think I did my little too dark, so I'm just gonna blur it out. Now, if you feel that the glasses look right, the angle is right, and it's also helpful to kind of maybe just do that, look at it from the side, and it will kind of just tell you if the sunglasses are straight. I mean, you don't need a, I think mine just can use being just angled just a little bit more. And I'm lifting the ear a little bit. Getting some of the detail. Comb the hair. It's going to give it more of showing the direction of the strands. Okay, and you can see it definitely becoming more. I feel that this probably needs to go a little bit higher. darken this area in here. I think the glasses could be a little bit darker. And you could even, you know, just make the glasses just a little bit bigger, just because, like for her size, they were kind of like, you know, considered large scale. Just a little bit more definition. Just giving her jawline just a slight shading. And I'm gonna put a little bit of the background just to kind of give her a place. You don't have to do those exact lines, but just something that shows that she is in a certain place. If you're ambitious, you could do like, you know, a Tiffany sign. Just make sure that these lines are not, you know, distracting. I'm going to give this a little bit more color. And, you know, when you're drawing from a reference, you know, just, you know, feel free to give your own, you know, add your own, you know, little touches, or, you know, edit, remove some things if you want. Like, I feel that this just could use just a little bit of shading. And don't forget just the little ridges on the top of her glove that will show that those are her fingers. Just contrast the hair a little bit. And her eyebrow, kind of, you just see just a little bit of it. It kind of blends in with the glasses. And I'm just kind of just gently going around everything in her face now. And just any little detail that I might have missed, or anything that I can bring out, anything I need to erase or check. And I think that's kind of how it goes. So let's see how everyone did on this. Okay, so what do we think?
I love it.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Just
So,
I just hope Audrey doesn't turn in her grave.
oh,
When
she will
she's-
be delighted. She will be very proud. She would be very proud. You know, just realize, you know, give yourself credit. Portraits are, I don't want to keep using the word challenging. I'm going to say it as it is. They're hard. They are not easy. They take a lot of work. They take a lot of practice, patience, perseverance, everything. And the more you draw them, the better you will get at doing them. But don't expect that from the very first time. I mean, if you have great results, that's fantastic. But realize that it is a process. So just making sure that everybody is kind to themselves about it. So does anyone want to show me?
I will.
Oh,
Oh, very good.
Wow.
Lovely, very
wow.
It's
fancy.
not, it needs darkening on the clothing, but you know, that's a
Great.
process. So there you go.
Oh, Marley, that's awesome.
Wow.
And Phyllis and Susanna's looks great. Lucia, oh, beautiful. Carol, right up your alley. Lisa, can
Very
you-
lovely.
very nice. Can I see everyone's sketch, the 5-minute sketch that we did?
No,
My sketch was better than the,
And that's quite normal.
I
Okay.
threw mine away. It was horrible.
my
So-
sketch.
Good. That's cute, Lisa. So yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna show you. I think that the one that I did earlier probably was, was a little bit just more. It's more refined. Of course, I wasn't talking, and that's just to show you that even though I'm not seeing what you're doing, you are in class and you are on. So when you work on it on your own, I'm sure that you will have, even better results.
You know what?
So-
I had trouble with the hand.
Yeah, me too.
It,
One of my hands looks like a claw.
Yeah.
well, the thing is you want to look at the angle of where those are, because that's really the defining thing. Just go back and check, because I can see on the one that I did with you guys is not as good as the other one. I think I was missing that angle. There is an angle, so you want to check the angle right here, because you have very little defining that hand. It's gloved and it's closed, so it's going to be all about that angle right here. So if you have it straight like that, it's going to look awkward. So you need to make sure that you get that angle right, right here. So hold on.
I'm gonna show you my sketch.
Yes.
Oh, well.
Very nice.
It's better than the other one.
Well, you were not thinking about it as hard. So if anyone is interested, so I don't know if all of you know this, but portraits are my specialty, and people actually commission me to do portraits, and a lot of times I don't have the person accessible to me, so working from photographs is good. If you are lucky enough to have somebody actually sit for you, that's even better, because you can really see there's no guesswork when the person is in front of you. Self-portraits are also a very good place to work from. Just put a mirror and draw yourself, because you're not going to offend anybody, That's how I started portraits. I started drawing myself, and you know, with references, try, and if you are able to pick, you know, pick somebody that has very distinct features, like, you know, very narrow face, you know, really big prominent nose, a very, you know, big open eyes, or very, anything that's going to be distinct, because when you're doing a portrait, you want to be able to find something to latch onto and say, okay, well, I can see how that is, or how that person's eyes are different than mine or somebody else's. So you can do that. But I think this was a great start. So I will start kind of sneaking in portraits here and there, just because they are such, you know, they're such good practice, and they really will. I mean, when you can do portraits, you can draw anything. It really is a great to be able to do. So I look forward to you sending them to me. And
I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
Is that all your real hair up there?
Yes.
Just checking.
It is. This was like, it was so easy. I just did a ponytail and I pulled it out and just put it back, and
Looks great.
I'm gonna do this every day.
So glam, so glam.
Well, can we expect that you will dress up for every talk?
Yeah, that right.
Pineapple next week, so I'll be dressed as a pineapple.
Oh, a theme. I like it.
I thought about this last minute. I was getting dressed, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm just gonna be Audrey Hepburn. And then I thought I should have told everybody to look like Audrey Hepburn if they wanted to. So next time we have a, you know, something, I would suggest that we do that. It's optional, of course,
Yeah.
but it'd be fun. You know, we have to have whatever fun we can, you know? So
That's fun.
great. So send me your pictures and send me your questions if you want. And I would definitely try to redo this one. If you're gonna redo any, I would redo this one for sure and just work on it. And also, this would be a very nice ink and pen project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noel,
Yes.
Noel,
Yes.
do we know who did the original sketch?
I don't think it's
One
any.
we cop.
It's not anyone that I know. I just found the picture.
Oh, nobody. No. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
I don't
pretty
think-
good though.
Yeah. It's. I mean, and it served the purpose for us. So I think it worked.
Yeah.
Next week we're going to do pencil, and let me know and practice portraits. And we'll see everybody next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.